Hi there. In my last video, we talked about why documents are so important. They're crucial to the bankruptcy process. They're hard to get, and I understand. But right now, I want to talk about what specific documents do we need? So we give every client a checklist, but let's talk through it together. First, we're going to need a copy of your ID. We've got to be able to prove your identity. We're going to need a Social Security card, but we could also use a 1099 or a W-2 as long as it's got that full Social Security number on there. And we could also use a letter from Social Security Administration. But we need an official document that shows your full unredacted Social Security number because we need to be able to prove your identity. The next thing that we're going to need is we're going to need you to fill out some simple worksheets for us. Not hard, but we need some more information from you that we didn't get during the consultation. First, where are all your banks and about how much money do you have in them? We'll need bank statements, but this helps us put that list together with you to make sure every financial account is covered. And it's not just a traditional bank like Chase or Bank of Oklahoma. If you bank online with Chime or Cash App or PayPal or Venmo, all of those are bank accounts with bank statements, and we need to get statements for those accounts as well. We also need you to fill out a list of all your creditors. We'll help you with this list. We'll go and we'll pull a credit report, and that will fill out lots and lots of creditors in your case, but it's not usually all of them. You're required by law to list everybody you owe money to. So if you owe money to your landscaper, your dentist, your brother, anybody, those probably aren't going to show up on your credit report. So that's why we have a worksheet. If there's creditors that aren't on that credit report we get for you, please go ahead and list them for us. We also have a worksheet we call the budget worksheet. You need to be able to show us what you spend your money on each month. Now, look in your checkbook, look through your bank records. How much is your rent? How much is your car payment? About how much are you spending on power, electricity, utilities, groceries, all of these things. And the reason why, we are showing the court that you're broke. That's the best way to think of it. You've got your income, which is however much, and you've got your expenses, which is probably about the same or more or a little bit less. But if it was a really good ratio and you had lots of money left over at the end of the month, you probably wouldn't be talking to a bankruptcy attorney. So let's go through, figure out what you're spending money on, and then we can show the court that on a month-to-month basis, you're just break it even or something close to it. Next, we're going to need vehicle information. A couple years ago, that'd be a copy of your vehicle title. Nowadays, when you borrow money on a car, they don't give you your title anymore. So we just need to go to the tag agency and get some title paperwork that shows your name, the vehicle information, the VIN number, and the lender putting that lien on the vehicle. Or if it's free and clear, that won't be there. But we need to be able to show that to the trustee to prove what kind of car you own. And if you live in Oklahoma, you probably have a car. The next section that we're going to talk about are the time-sensitive documents. So we've got the first category of documents, your creditors, your monthly budget, your ID, those don't change. But then we've got the next category of documents that change all the time. So what I want you to do is work on this section of documents after you finish paying for your bankruptcy. Because if you do this 6 months before you finish paying, you're going to have to do it again. So here's what we're going to need for you on this list. We're going to need 6 months of your pay stubs. And if you don't have pay stubs, or even if you do, we also need any other sources of income. So VA letter, Social Security letter, something to show where your money comes from each month. Because again, we're going to compare that to where your money gets spent. The next thing that we're going to need is your bank statements. So for each bank account, financial account that you identified, we're going to need the most recent 3 months of bank statements. Why? We got to see how much money you have in the bank, and we'll have to provide that to the trustee. And they require 3 months from every bank, even if it's an online bank. We're also going to need to see a statement of your 401k or retirement account if you have one. That money's protected in your bankruptcy. There's an exemption that covers money you put away for retirement. But we need to be able to claim that exemption by saying, okay, my client's got a 401k, it's got $14,000 in it, here's the exemption, and therefore it's protected. But to do that legal work, first we have to know what's in the account. So a copy of a recent statement on your retirement as well. We're also going to need your most recent 2 years of tax returns if you're doing a Chapter 7, or if it's a 13, we have to have 4 years of tax returns. Most of the time, you can go to TurboTax, H&R Block, or wherever you prepared those taxes and just get a new copy. It's got to be your state and your federal. Now you might ask, I didn't file. Is that a problem? We got to break that down. If you didn't file taxes because you're on Social Security, that's not a problem. We'll just file a little affidavit that says I don't file taxes because I'm on Social Security. I'm not legally required to file taxes. But if you didn't file taxes because you chose not to, then you just need to get those tax returns done. And we can talk through some options with you, but the reality is to qualify for bankruptcy, you've got to submit your tax returns. And that doesn't even mean that you're paying the tax. That just means you're filing the return. The last thing I want to go over with you on this list is your credit counseling requirement. You are required to take a class on bankruptcy. It's not hard. It's online. You can do it in about an hour to an hour and a half, but this is information on how the bankruptcy process is going to work. And you might think, aren't I just going to ask my law firm, my lawyer, the same question? Well, Congress wanted you to hear this information from a separate person so that you could weigh the decision of whether to file bankruptcy. So you're required to go to an outside company, and we'll provide you with one, and then take a class and get a certificate saying that you learned about bankruptcy. Not hard, just has to get done. One thing to keep in mind, that certificate's only valid for about 6 months. So that's why we put it under that time-sensitive documents list. So for every case, it's the same list of documents, but it's going to look a little different for each person. So our documents professionals will work with you and say, okay, you got 6 cars, we're going to need 6 vehicle informations. Or you got 1 car, let's get the 1 car information. In general, the more things that you have, cars, bank accounts, pay stubs, the more work it's going to be, just because we got to gather all those documents. Doesn't mean that your case is going to be any legally harder, but more bank accounts equals more statements, and we just have to have them all so that your case doesn't get in trouble. We'll guide you through it. We'll take care of you. Be patient. Gather documents. This is going to be the hardest part of everything that you have to go through to get this bankruptcy relief.